Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a ranked game in my Worcester. Going over the matchmaking. Got a couple battleships, a Des Moines, and then a bunch of destroyers. The Z-52 on this map can be a pain. If he digs into C-cap with his Hydro, it can make the situation really hard on your destroyers. So going over, loading into the game, basically try to figure out where the team wants to go. And everybody kind of agrees, let's go to CCAP. Um, so that's where everybody starts heading, and it gets pointed out we need to leave people to defend ACAP. And right here, I'm trying to refine this plan. And what I want to do is get this Kaba on the 9 and 10 line. I'm going to come into this island here, and what I'm looking to do is radar any destroyer that's on the cap and let that Kaba just gun them down behind that island. And when they move out, I'll be in a position where I can hit them too. It's a nasty 1-2 punch. You can do this with any sort of fast cruiser or a fast gunboat destroyer. A Grozavoy could do this, pretty good. Uh, and I mean the big one is getting into position and being ready to kite out before they get a bunch of stuff down in here that can really wreck you. So you need a fast ship to do it. Otherwise, you need to bring a couple ships on the 9 and 10 and basically win this line in order to whoever wins the 9 and 10 line typically will win CCAP. Now, an ideal deployment would have been, the Shima and the gearing staying back here to defend ACAP, and the Z-52 going to C-cap because of his Hydro. His Hydro plus my radar means that this cap would constantly be surveilled until we basically ran out of consumables. And that's not going to happen. I just don't want this guy to run off on the 1-2 line all by himself and just get wrecked. Now, that's a critical spot right there. Their Des Moines over on he isn't crossing, and that tells me that we're going to have an advantage here, and that's going to open up some doors for me to play a little more aggressive, a little more close in than you otherwise could. Um, so again, mini map awareness. When you see stuff, you've looked through the lineup, you can start figuring out with pretty good certainty just how aggressive you can be on this map. Um, Now I'm going to make the prudent choice when you're crossing, particularly as crossing as shallow as I am right here. I basically wanted to be close to my DDs. If they got into a fight, I wanted to be able to help them out. But this means that I'm at risk of being torpedoed. So I'm going to go on ahead, pop Hydro, and just use that to get through this last, this really is like the danger zone for torpedoes. Uh, they've got something on cap already. That's, you know, looking at their matchmaking, probably one of the Shimas with a speed flag and the extended speed boost module, uh, because that's pretty quick getting over here. Um, I kind of disagree with my Shima not going into the cap, um, but if he doesn't feel comfortable going into the cap, I'd much rather a destroyer player just not go in until he is comfortable than risk losing a bunch of HP doing something that he's not comfortable with. So I get spotted. Worcester things. Let's go on ahead, pop radar, and the trap set. This Shima, he's got a Kaba on his flank. Um, I see these battleships pop up in the middle, so I need to take a look at them, see where they're shooting, basically respect what they're doing, and before I can turn my attention back on this destroyer. This destroyer, he's just now popping out, and I can get some shots in on them while these battleships are reloading. So we've got torpedoes going everywhere right now. Get a pretty good lick in there on the Shima, and that's going to be the end of the Shima. Kaba's going to finish it up. We've got the cap, we've got the destroyer kill, and that level of coordination you can do with random players. I've never played a formal game with this Kaba before in my life, um, but pushing in there and just in chat, hey, can you do X, Y, and Z? And he followed through, and he played that perfectly. So I'm coming back in, basically looking to support my DDs. I know we've got a firepower advantage here with their Des Moines being on BCAP. Uh, so just looking to exploit that. Now I'm also shooting, and I'm undetected here. So that's also telling me that there's nothing around in this area yet that can spot me when I was shooting. So that's also really important information for a cruiser player to realize. Now, I'm seeing an opportunity here where I wasn't spotted. I'm going to basically nose into this island and spin the guns around, and I'm going to eventually I'm positioning myself to push into CCAP, but before I push into CCAP, I want to beat this guy up pretty good. Uh, I don't like having healthy battleships laying around when I'm in a cruiser, and this is one of the roles of a cruiser player, is just getting that DPM out on the enemy targets, and I'm just going to go to town on this guy. I'm not detected. Again, that's telling me nothing's crossing this line. Um, and I get spotted now. That's telling me that most likely something's pushing up into here. Um, obviously I can't pop radar because he could be anywhere within my detection radius. I'm looking just to verify that I'm not gonna have any uh, any shots from a battleship coming mid, and you see it. These guys pop up on ACAP. They're the ones spotting me. I'm just gonna push forward a little bit, and at this point it's the Yamato spotting me, and I'm just looking to juke any shots coming in on me. Uh, he's fairly far out. Um, So at this point, he's repaired. He's looking to disengage, and I'm looking to get any last second fires. I saw his gun turrets turning towards me, so I had started accelerating, and he basically shot, expecting me to reverse, and just the timing of my acceleration juked that shot. Um, so at this point, I'm just gonna go dark. Um, I don't. I've got a fire ticking on him. Um, it's not really worth me pushing into a crossfire with this Kurfürst and the Yamato. So I'm going to let this Yamato get distracted with this Kaba and kind of set things up. And this is a dangerous play here. But pulling it off, it basically will secure the victory. I see the torps coming in on the Kurfürst. Um, I want this guy to turn into me because he'll eat the torps, or turn out to shoot me. Um, you, and you notice I'm looking hard at that Yamato. I'm watching my priority target. Um, I want to make sure that I'm not going to get blapped by that Yamato. Um, while I'm shooting a lot, my priority target is the number one thing that I'm looking at right now. And I see that um, I'm getting locked on. I see the guns on the Kurfürst locked on at me, so I know it's not the Yamato. So I'm preparing for this Kurfürst to shoot, and as soon as he shoots, I'm turning out. And just with the timing of my turn, I'm basically offering, an angled ship. Honestly, I had overturned a little bit with that second volley. Uh, if that had been better placed, he could have overpinned my stern and got some citadels. Um, but I was mainly looking to bounce most of that with the belt of my armor. So at this point, the Yamato's done, Kurfürst is done. Um, we're just gonna push up. It's only destroyers left. Uh, right here I see the HP disadvantage that we have on the Z52. Um, so I'm gonna start heading towards A, just thinking I might be needed there. We've got a couple different destroyers down here that should be able to deal with this gearing. So now, obviously I look back and this Z52 has already gotten nuked. I think it might have been our Yamato took a shot at him and did some pretty heavy damage. Um, so at this point, this game's over. We're just doing the final mop up. And I mean that's radar cruiser life for ranked. I mean, your first job, make sure you can provide the that vision on the caps and around the caps. Um, you know, get any sort of damage you can on the destroyers, and then lastly, get the damage in on the other ships. Prioritize it. Destroyer damage is more important than any of the other damage, except maybe CV damage. Um, in a CV game, and that's only if you can finish off the CV. Um, the game bugged out. That was my rank 6, so I'm gonna hop back into the results so you can see that. 107k, nothing special, uh, but just a really solid performance, just helping my team lock down the cap and systematically just grind anything around that area to grind it right to the bottom of the ocean floor, and just at that point, once there's no threats left to the cap, um, just move on to the next. Uh, Talking about just to finish about the target prioritization, being able to finish off, low HP targets, be able to finish off a CV. Those obviously are really important in a game. If you can actually get a shot early on with a CV. Other than that, it's destroyer damage, radar cruisers, then your regular cruisers, and then battleship is the least valuable damage. They've got um, a ton of heals. They're able to tank a lot of damage, and they're better suited to absorbing what you're sending. So it only makes sense to try to hit the enemy where it really hurts. Um, Now I've been showing more of the economics pages because people have been asked me about them, And this ship, I don't have the premium camo on. Honestly, I find this ship pretty boring. I only played her once today just because it's a super container. I'm not gonna turn that down. But you can see the difference in you know the credit making. You know, this was honestly this was a lot of battleship damage. Uh, but only 55k positive credits after the bills are paid. Now let's see, yeah, I'm not running any XP flags, not running any credit multipliers, so this is just pretty straightforward. So this game without premium, I would have lost credits, and this is one area that I think that they do need to adjust the economy because you should not have a game mode where um, you're gonna have to have people that are the the newer people that they don't have a couple 100 million credits just banked. Um, that you know 100 games losing 25k credits, it adds up and it starts to really hurt their bottom line. So I do think that there should be some tweaks that I have had a couple different people you know doing questionable things in the games in ranked games, and they're just saying zero damage games are bad for me because I lose a butt ton of credits. And I mean, I don't disagree with them. Losing credits, you know, from my perspective, it sucks. I'd rather make sure I win the game for sure, but I also have, a couple 100 million credits in the bank too. So it's like, whatever. If I lost 500k credits, I'm like, oh, whatever. But not everybody's in that position, and I can see where, you know, somebody that's trying to rank out, what are they going to do? They're going to have to go, play 2 3 games to try to fund, all of their, ranked games for that day. That's just 2 3 game ranked games that they can't even play. So I understand the frustration. Um, you know, it, if you don't want to put any money into the game, it's something that you're gonna have to deal with. It's just how Wargaming has set this up because they got to pay their bills somehow. Um, you know, I've talked about it a little bit before, but the tier 10 premium camos, they do a lot to boost these returns. I probably would have been somewhere in the neighborhood of 150k credits with premium, probably like 40k, 50k credits after the bills were paid for this game. So you know it goes. It's a one-time thing, and I mean with you know you can pick up doubloons here and there with ranked with super containers, stuff like that. If you guys can save them up and buy those premium camos for your tier 10s, it really goes to help you because especially once you get 19 point captains on things, because um, you just are boosting everything else. So that's how I level all of my captains these days. I basically just print off, whatever I need based on the elite commander XP, just because I have so many uh 19 point captains that every game I play, it goes right into that bank that I can use on, I think I'm down to like ranking or leveling out my tier 6s for 19 point captains right now. So you know, it adds up. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the game. Hope you didn't mind the economics talk. Probably not going to talk too much about that anymore, but I am going to show this tab just because there's been some people curious about it. Uh, Again, hope you enjoyed the game. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I will talk to you later.